Happy Tuesday, you guys. Today is March 17th. It's St. Patrick's Day, so make sure you wear some green so that nobody at home can pinch you. I actually tried this video once before and I failed. It was too long, so YouTube was not letting it upload. So if this comes to you a little bit late this morning, I'm sorry, I'm having to try again. So I'm going to really quickly fly through what our daily plan looks like. I just want to make it clear though before I do that this isn't expected. It's just some options that you and your family could do if your parents are looking for something to keep you learning while you're on this 3-week break. I have opportunities for you in reading, writing, math, and social studies. 4 different calendars that you'll see linked on my slide today. My hope is that every day you would start by watching Mr. Secor's morning announcements. Check to see what pictures he's posted. I think one of our classmates is featured today. Check to see if anyone's gotten a SOAR dot. Make sure you're still engaging in your SOAR challenge, even from home. Make sure, like yesterday, he said, make sure you're owning it. Make sure you're being responsible if your parents are asking you to do things, respectful, and make sure, above all, that you're being safe during this time, washing your hands, staying healthy, and doing things that are keeping people safe. So just really quickly on those calendars, if you link to look at those calendars, math is the same every day. All I'm saying is choose 2 things to do. Maybe that's 5 minutes of flashcards, maybe it's 10 minutes of Prodigy, maybe it's a worksheet from the blue folder I sent home with you. Math should take you no more than 20 minutes if you're really focused on it. Reading will change every day. So parents who want to print out the calendar, I would hold off on reading because every day there's going to be a different prompt on there. If you wanted to print it and just pay attention to my videos every day, when I ask you a prompt, this is just like our sticky notes, kids. So when I've read you a little bit of our read aloud book, I'll ask you a question, and your job is to answer in the comment section below with a 1-sentence response. Today it's just making a prediction, but that will change every day. The other thing I suggest is just taking 10 to 15 minutes and reading in a comfy spot. On Fridays, you'll see that there are some fun things you can do, like talking in a funny voice, reading with an animal or a stuffed animal. So stay tuned on that calendar as you're looking for some reading opportunities. Some things with writing. Every day there's a writing prompt that you can answer. All I'm asking for is 3 to 5 sentences, and I'm letting you type it. If you would rather write it down on a piece of paper and save it for me for when you come back, that's fine too. But I did share a Google Doc with every student. The Google Doc has the prompt in the box above and then a box below for you to type in your response. Let me know if you have questions about that as you start some writing the next few weeks. On Fridays will look a little different. The first thing with this week is Friday. I'm hoping you'll write a card or email Mrs. Tutt because she actually has surgery tomorrow on her shoulder. So I'm hoping Friday if we could get her some cards or emails, that would really help cheer her up as she's recovering. Let me know, if you have questions about that or if you want her address so you can mail her something, let me know. I'd be happy to get that for you. The last thing and what I'm most excited about is social studies. Before we went on break, we talked about the 7 continents. Now we're going to start talking about the 50 states in the United States and how those 50 states are broken up into 5 regions of the U.S. Today I linked a video just introducing what those 5 regions are. It's in the social studies calendar, so watch that about 5-minute video on YouTube today. The other thing that I'll do every day is I'll list some states that are in the region that we're focused on. Some of those states have cool things that you can explore on National Geographic Kids. So I would choose a few states each day to just explore and learn about. But what I'll be doing is I'm going to have guests who are sending me videos from different states in the U.S. I'll even have some fun international outside of the U.S. videos just to give you cool updates and information, but not necessary for our region study. But each day there will be a video from somebody in a different state. Today, it's actually me. I was driving through Ohio, so I have a video for you of what I was noticing in Ohio. So those people will talk about the state, talk about what they do, but then they'll also let you know how the coronavirus has been affecting them. So we can still pay attention to how it's affecting our whole country and our whole world. So make sure you click the link for that video today also. I'm going to quickly dive into a read aloud so I don't get cut off with a video again today. What you're going to be paying attention to is by the end of our reading, you're going to write a one-sentence prediction today. You're going to write, I predict that, or I predict Count Olaf will. Make sure it starts with the words I predict, and then you fill in that sentence. I only have a few pages to read you today. Last we knew, Uncle Monty was hiring Stefano, and he had left and Stefano had arrived, and we know now that Stefano is not Stefano, he's Count Olaf. But Uncle Monty does not know that yet. So I'm going to start reading a little bit now. Go ahead and make your prediction after we're finished. So, I know you know, Violet said, but what we don't know is what Count Olaf, Stefano, is really up to. He's after our fortune, certainly, but how can he get it if we're under Uncle Monty's care? Maybe he's just going to wait until you're of age and then steal the fortune, Klaus said. 4 years is a long time to wait, Violet said. The three orphans were quiet, as each remembered where they had been 4 years ago. Violet had been 10 and had worn her hair very short. She remembered that somewhere around her 10th birthday, she had invented a new kind of pencil sharpener. Klaus had been about 8, and he remembered how interested he had been in comets, reading all the astronomy books his parents had in their library. Sunny, of course, had not been born 4 years ago, and she sat and tried to remember what that was like. Very dark, she thought, with nothing to bite. For all three youngsters, 4 years did seem like a very long time. Come on, you are moving very slowly this morning, Uncle Monty said, bursting into the room. His face seemed even brighter than usual, and he was holding a small bunch of folded papers in one hand. Stefano has only worked here 1 day, and he's already in the reptile room. In fact, he was up before I was. I ran into him on my way down the stairs. He's an eager beaver. But you three, you're moving like the Hungarian sloth snake, whose top speed is half an inch per hour. We have lots to do today, and I'd like to catch the 6 o'clock showing of Zombies in the Snow tonight. So let's try to hurry. Violet looked at Uncle Monty and realized that this might be their only opportunity to talk to him alone, without Stefano around. But he seemed so wound up they weren't sure if he would listen to them. Speaking of Stefano, she said timidly, we'd like to talk to you about him. Uncle Monty's eyes widened, and he looked around him as if there were spies in the room, before leaning in to whisper to the children. I'd like to talk to you too, he said. I have my suspicions about Stefano, and I'd like to discuss them with you. The Baudelaire orphans looked at one another in relief. You do? Klaus said. Of course, Uncle Monty said. Last night, I began to get very suspicious about this new assistant of mine. There's something a little spooky about him, and Uncle Monty looked around again and began speaking softer so that the children had to hold their breaths to hear him. And I think we should discuss outside, shall we? The children nodded in agreement and rose from the table, leaving their dirty dishes behind, which is not a good thing to do in general, but perfectly acceptable in the face of an emergency. They walked with Uncle Monty to the front entryway, past the painting of 2 snakes, entwined together out the front door and onto the lawn, as if they wanted to talk to the snake-shaped hedges instead of to one another. I don't mean to be vainglorious, Uncle Monty began, using a word here, which here means braggy, but I really am one of the most widely respected herpetologists in the world. Klaus blinked. It was an unexpected beginning for the conversation. Of course you are, he said, and of course this, I'm sad to say, Uncle Monty continued as if he had not heard, many people are jealous of me. I'm sure that's true, Violet said, puzzled. And when people are jealous, Uncle Monty said, shaking his head, they will do anything. They will do crazy things. When I was getting my herpetology degree, my roommate was so envious of a new toad I had discovered that he stole and ate my only specimen. I had to x-ray his stomach and use the x-rays rather than the toad in my presentation. And something tells me we may have a similar situation here. What was Uncle Monty talking about? I'm afraid I don't quite follow you, Klaus said. which is the polite way of saying, "What are you talking about, Uncle Monty?" "Last night, after you went to bed, Stefano asked me a few too many questions about all the snakes and about my upcoming expedition. And do you know why?" "I think so," Violet began, but Uncle Monty interrupted her. "It is because this man who is calling himself Stefano," he said, "is really a member of the Herpetological Society, and he is here to try and find the incredibly deadly viper, so he can preempt my presentation. Do you three know what the word preempt means?" "No," Violet said, "but it means that I think this Stefano is trying to steal my snake," Uncle Monty said, "and present it to the Herpetological Society. Because it is a new species, there's no way I can prove I discovered it. Before we know it, the incredibly deadly viper will be called the Stefano snake or something dreadful like that. And if he's planning that, just think what he will do to catch our Peruvian expedition. Each toad we catch, each venom sample we put into a test tube, each snake interview we record, every scrap of work we do will fall into the hands of this Herpetological Society spy." I'm going to stop there on page 71 today. Tomorrow we'll finish up the chapter. Today I want you to be thinking, do you think Uncle Monty is going to listen to the kids? Do you think that he's even going to be able to help them? Or do you think that Count Olaf might step in? I want you to make a prediction. What do you think will happen next? I also want to point out that this is again dramatic irony. So we, as the audience, know that Uncle Monty's going to die. We know that Count Olaf is not Stefano, he's Count Olaf, but Uncle Monty doesn't know any of those things. So I'm curious to see what ends up happening and what Uncle Monty becomes aware of throughout the rest of this chapter. So one sentence below, I predict that, and tell me your prediction. Will they be able to get help from Uncle Monty? Will Uncle Monty try to rat Stefano out for stealing his snake? Not sure. Make your prediction and we'll find out more tomorrow. Go ahead and go through my slideshow again today. It should be live about now. It's 9:35. Email me or call me with any questions. If at any point you want to talk these next few days, feel free to FaceTime me, text me, email me. I would love to talk with all of you. I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday. Stay healthy, wash your hands, be kind to your families, and please remember you are so loved and you are so missed. Enjoy your Tuesday. Bye, guys.